Greetings, one and all, from the White Mountains of Arizona, where we have two suns. It's less pronounced right now. You might see it better in the B-roll during the course of this video, but there was another sun right there. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of scientific explanation, some sort of reflection, but anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to do some channeling on this beautiful White Mountain morning. Linkin Park is in the news right now a lot because they've returned. Minus half the band, and minus Chester Bennington. And people are polarized on the idea. Some people love it, some people hate it. I fall into the second group, being a big Linkin Park fan. I just feel like, let it be, let it sit. A little bit of a cash grab, possibly. So, whatever, I'm not so concerned with what other people do, but I'm more concerned with what Chester Bennington has to say. So, since Linkin Park's in the news, we decided... We've always wanted to channel Chester, but now it seems like the best time to do it. He has a lot to say, I'm sure. We don't want to talk too much about what Linkin Park is doing in 3D now. We're going to talk more about what he has to say, whatever he wants to talk about, essentially. So, yeah, hopefully she can channel him. We're not sure if she's going to get her ego, his higher self, or a combination of the two. We never really know until it happens. So, she just asked to talk to whoever wants to come through, really. And Tara's got fantastic discernment. We've been doing so much healing, so much ego removal, that she has, a process. We've got so much practice doing this. She has a process to determine whether she's speaking to who she thinks she is or isn't. A lot of people will just connect to whatever, all willy-nilly, which is why I think Tara's a fantastic channel. She has very good discernment.
Okay.
All right. Who are we talking to?
Chester Bennington's ego plus higher self. It's like a mix.
Okay. What dimensional frequency is his higher self in?
Between 4 and 5D.
Is he in the process of ascending to 5D?
Yes.
Is the higher self service to others?
Yes.
And Chester's ego is trapped in the cube?
He says it's the part that is the cube, but his higher self controls it still.
So we're speaking to Chester's ego in the cube, which still has its higher self influence.
Yes.
Okay, so why is it still bound to the cube?
An ego is part of the cube. I haven't fully gone on to the next chapter.
Oh, so you're hanging back here for what purpose?
To learn. It's like having one eye on the inside, one eye on the outside. Of course, I don't want to take my ego with me, but I just want to keep an eye.
Okay. Out of love to see how we're doing and progressing?
Sure, but curiosity too.
Okay, what would you like to talk about, Chester?
Well, I'm an open book. I wouldn't mind talking about anything. I mean, what do I have left to hide? I don't even have a body to hide behind.
Okay, let's start at the end. Were you murdered or did you actually kill yourself?
Well, see, that's hard to talk about. Not that I wouldn't want to talk about it.
You're an open book.
It's just difficult for people to maybe understand.
We're open.
There wasn't anyone else in the room with me when I passed. So it may look like a suicide, it may look like an overdose, but I tell you, I wasn't alone. And it's not that it wasn't a human being. There wasn't any human beings there. It's more of a, I don't know, I felt like there was a being, if that makes sense. It's like, well, I would call it the devil. I would say the devil was with me. I would say it was like spiders, like somebody chipping away at your brain, and it's not my normal ego telling me all kinds of bullshit. It's something else is there, and it keeps pushing you, and I didn't want to go, but it keeps pushing and pushing, and pretty soon I'm gone. It's difficult.
Well, you know, the people watching this are open. We understand things beyond the normal understanding of humans. So basically it sounds like a lower astral 4D was influencing you because you were in so much ego that he was able to control your actions.
Yeah, I suppose so. I'd be lying if I wasn't fully in ego. I fully was. I get up in my head a lot, and usually I like to drain my head on paper, but this time I didn't. I was doing things that aren't so good for people, but he kept egging me on and pushing me. It's almost like I didn't have control of my own body.
So on Earth as Chester, you would say you were a 10 ego and you couldn't hear your higher self?
I didn't hear anybody else except my breathing and his voice.
But I mean, throughout your life, were you listening to your higher self?
On and off.
So you weren't a 10. You're more like a 9.
That's fair.
Okay. Why did this lower astral want you gone?
Well, part of my ego, obviously, not my soul, part of my ego felt like it wanted to be gone. Part of my ego felt like you can't stand up to the machine, they call it. Felt like you're not making any difference. They're just going to come for you anyway. It's like they don't have to do anything to you. They just have to put the idea that they're going to do something. You squeal, little pig, we're going to do something. And then your ego takes over, and it does that something for them. Even if deep down in your heart of hearts, you don't want it to be true, you don't want to listen to them, but that voice can be so small and you feel so pathetic, your ego, not your soul, that you think that your soul isn't any stronger than they are. And that's the lie.
Naturally, you signed a contract with the Cabal. What was the nature of your contract?
That we would spread beyond the people that already knew us. That our music would go places as long as we keep writing, we keep creating, we could have whatever we wanted in order to keep that creative process going. But, of course, there's always a catch. And the catch is, they say, you belong to us. You do what we say. You say what we want you to say. Whatever narrative it is, I didn't care. It's just all bullshit. As long as I could keep writing, as long as we could keep jotting things down, practicing, sure, I'll say whatever. I felt like they were talking about advertising.
So is it fair to say that the Cabal forced you to write lyrics and songs about pain and sorrow so that you would never heal, the listeners would never heal? There's no healing in your message at all.
Well, if you wanted to get psychological with it, yeah, that's what they did. I did write things, we wrote things that sometimes didn't have the sound that people are used to with our group, but that would get shot down, and they would have a friend. It's always your friend, not really your friend, but your friend would come in and somehow know exactly what to poke at, what to give you, to put you right back in that place that you just crawled out of. And then the creativity begins all over again, because that's the only way you know how to be creative, is when you need to get something out of you, something dark, something that needs to be released. But then that friend is gone, and you've got a new song, and everyone's happy, and you feel like shit.
Wow. So a Cabal handler puts you into a dark place because they know all your triggers. You get into the dark place, you make dark music, you put out dark music, and humanity never heals.
Right. I mean, my intention wasn't to make people not heal. It's who can hear me. It's like screaming into a void, but maybe it's not a void. Maybe there's somebody else out there, and they feel what you feel. They understand your demons are their demons, and maybe we can heal together, but we never got to that point. Because if you don't know how to heal, then the demon just sits with you, like it sat with me, and its voice gets loud, and you think it's the only voice. Then that voice becomes your voice, and then it feels like it's just you in that void, and it's not you. It's the demon.
It sounds like you made it to the second or third level of the Cabal. Would that be accurate?
Well, if there were levels, yeah, I suppose I wasn't a beginner. I would be maybe a little above that, I suppose.
So you saw what they did to children.
Yeah.
Did you participate?
No.
You just watched and kept quiet?
That was part of that friend that brings you back down. And they say, look what you did. They say, there's nothing you can do. You're pathetic. You're weak. And the weak you are, the more pain they're in, the more they scream. And you feel like, I am a piece of shit, and I can't do anything. And so I do internalize their suffering. And then I feel worse. And they make you feel like it's all your fault. All of them. It's all your singular fault.
And you believe that?
I gave away all of my power.
Was that done to you as a child?
Yeah.
So that's how they courted in?
I knew how those children felt because I'd felt that before. And so that's why it was so easy for them to make it seem as though it was me, that I was doing it. They twist you. They make you think like you're the attacker, you're the abuser, even if you didn't lay a finger on them.
So if you had done some actual healing instead of just writing down words on a paper, you would have been able to see through that illusion, and you wouldn't have been forced into that situation, but you did no healing.
Yeah, it seems simple, but
It is.
when you have no spark to speak of, everything just seems dark.
Yeah, but you're a 9. There was a spark. You just didn't listen.
I wasn't used to his voice.
So you had no training. There's no metaphysical coach or influence in your life?
Oh, there was metaphysical stuff, but probably for the wrong team, you might say.
Okay. All right, so they were doing magic and they're working their magic with you.
Yeah, so I definitely knew that there was something beyond myself that I was totally aware of. It's just, it was harder for me to see the light side. I didn't resonate with it so much.
In what way did you violate your contract with them?
Well, I like to think I started growing a set of balls, and I didn't want to be told what to do anymore. That little voice was telling me kind of the way it spoke to me when I was younger. Just get out of the house. Just, they'll never catch you. Just run away. Just fuck them. And so that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to run away from the band. I didn't want to run away from the state or anything. But I wanted to run away from their energy. I wanted to run away from their words. And if they did catch me, I wanted to be able to stick my finger right in their face and tell them to fuck off. That they don't control me. You're not my father. You're not my uncle. You're not any of them. And I'm not doing what you tell me anymore. I don't care if the band fails. I don't care. Go ahead and replace me. Just, I don't want to be a puppet anymore.
Well, they can't replace you. We're seeing that now. I want to talk about that, but not quite just yet. They got you pretty young when you signed your contract?
I guess it depends on the contracts we sign. As a cognizant adult, yeah, they got me. But I would say they, as in you call negative polarity, they got me real young. About the age of 4.
On Earth, were you service to others?
Yeah, but I know my actions don't always look that way.
You're in too much ego. So, they corrupted a service to others entity when you were 4 so that they could control you as an adult.
Yeah, it makes it pretty easy. If you always got a demon on your back, well, he's always going to be your spokesman, no matter what. People can talk all the love and light shit they want, but you won't believe it. You can nod your head yes. You can go through the motions. I did try to heal, so to speak, but I tried to heal through my ego. It was like pay a guy basically to take you to the top of the mountain. Boom, you're healed. But it's all about money. And it was just there with a bunch of other women and guys that, yeah, as long as you pay enough, some spiritual guy is going to come out and heal you. It's just money. It's just fake. It's just so you could say, yeah, I've been to the top of the mountain, literally.
Yeah.
But I'm not healed.
It's the lower polarity's excuse for healing.
You can't pay somebody else for your healing. It seems like a duh, but that's what I did.
Okay, let's bring it to the present for a moment. They've replaced you with a female vocalist. Half the band isn't on board with this new version of Linkin Park. What do you say about it?
Everything evolves, I suppose. It's creative. It's something different. You know, maybe it's a Linkin Park 2.0, but it's missing, what do they say? Je ne sais quoi. It's missing that. It's missing the heart. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It's not like I'm the band. That's ego. I'm trying to say the creativity we had, it's forced. I know when they're fucking around and when they're being serious. They're fucking around.
My intuition is that they need money. Is that accurate?
That's part of it, sure.
I think it's disrespectful to your legacy. How do you feel about that?
I suppose I don't have a leg in the matter. I don't have a body, let alone a leg.
You can still speak. You're still here.
It's just different is all. And I'm all about them trying something new, trying something different. You know, if they want to try out a female vocalist, that's great. That's cool. The thing that maybe I suppose bothers me if I still had an emotional body is that it's forced. They got this female vocalist just because she's easily influenced. She's going to play ball. You know, it's going to influence the masses in a different way. The fans that they already have. And it's not because she happened to come along and, wow, let's try this out. Oh, that created some other creative spark, you know, let's write stuff down and we're in it, you know, we got the muse going for us, we're in it, we're writing, we're creating. It's just a chemist's formula. Oh, this is the era we're in right now. We got to find a female. It's they chose her for her gender instead of chose her for the creative sound of it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's so forced, guys.
Well, that's obvious. DEI is all the Cabal's agenda right now. So the Cabal's fully behind this project.
Well, you wouldn't know about it if they weren't behind
Correct.
it.
Right. What would you say, advice that you would give for service to others entities who are so far in the ego that they're acting out service to others energy? What advice would you give those people who clearly need your help and guidance?
If you resonate with our old music, if you feel that pain, that darkness, I understand. There's nothing wrong with it. We're human beings. We all feel darkness and pain from time to time. But that doesn't make a full recipe. The full human experience is a conglomeration of emotions. It's pain, it's joy, it's sadness, it's love. It's all kinds of things. It's not just one emotion. And all that one emotion might feel powerful at times. It doesn't control you. So you have to think to yourself, if I'm feeling a lot of pain and a lot of darkness right now, who is more apt and more able to control me in this state? And when you start thinking about it, now I'm just a puppet. If you were just a puppet, who's pulling your strings? Try to get analytical about it. Stop talking shit about yourself. I know that that's easier said than done. But you're not alone. Maybe it's somebody whispering some bullshit in your ear. Maybe it's a toxic friend. Maybe it's a toxic family. Hell, we live in a toxic society. But the more you listen to that toxicity, the greater that demon's voice gets. And the harder it is to hear the light. And there is light. I know sometimes it feels like you're surrounded by something so dark that you're suffocating. You're literally suffocating and you're drowning. But the mere fact that it feels wrong, that's the light. The light's telling you something's up. Otherwise, you'd say, man, it feels awesome to be so depressed. You know it's wrong. You know that emotion isn't there to stay. It's just trying to teach you something. So go into it. You can crawl in the dark, but keep crawling. You find the light. You really will.
Wow, Chester, I want to thank you so much for being here, for helping us, for staying back to watch over us. I want to thank you for making the music you did. It was powerful. It is powerful. And I love you, and I love you for doing that for us. Do you have any last message for the people before we go?
Sure. I know I played into this when I was alive. I love the screaming fans. I love people say, oh, Chester, I love you. You know why I love that? Because I didn't love myself. I needed millions of men and women to tell me how much they love me because I had no love for myself. And I'll tell you what, that it doesn't matter how many millions of people say they love you. If you don't love yourself, you'll never hear them. So if this is true for you, you know something's wrong. If you don't love yourself, it doesn't matter what perfect partner you find the love of your life, your twin flame. If you don't love yourself, you'll never feel their love. You'll always be grasping for somebody's love and attention. And I guarantee what you end up with is not going to be real love if you don't love yourself.
Wow, this channeling series is so cool. I get to talk to my heroes face to face. You get to hear what they have to say. Man, what a beautiful energy who just got wrapped up in the wrong polarity.
Yeah.
Need some time to calm down from that. A lot of energy coming through the screen right now.
Calm.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I think most of it. There was a lot of emotion in there. It's like I feel it in my throat, I feel it in my eyes, I feel it in my chest. It's a lot of.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I mean, it seems like he had such a wide range of very intense, very powerful emotions. And someone harnessed that for their own nefarious purposes. And used him and abused him till he was all spent up.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. But it felt like he had so much more clarity, and there wasn't any sort of blaming. You know, it kind of felt like he's just working on himself. Which, yeah, you know, if he's in between that 4 and 5D, he's trying to ascend on to the next level. So it seems like he's in a non-blame reflection period where everything's just kind of neutral. He's just trying to see, like, this is what happened. Why did that happen? Instead of, you know, the energy that he was in when he was on Earth.
Right.
He would have just blamed himself.
Exactly. So he's on the verge of 5D, so you can see the bigger picture.
Yeah. So it's well, I guess just like when we were talking to the 5D being, how it's all just an inward journey. That's where he's at right now.
Right.
And it seems like that's where he was on Earth, but the inward journey was just into the dark polarity. You know. And
I think, yeah, he's going to be fine. He's going to go to 5D. We just need to heal so he can remove the part of him that's still here. He doesn't need to be here.
Yeah.
He's just trying to help us. So heal, guys.
Well, I'm curious to hear what you guys thought about that, and anybody else who's, you know, maybe connected with his higher self or his ego, you know,
or if his music influenced you.
Yeah, or his music influenced their music,
yeah.
you know, influenced you in any way. Yeah, we want a discussion, you know, share, and we love that, and I know that it seems like he would love that too. It seemed like even though he put a lot out on paper, there was a lot he didn't put on paper, and he just kept it inside, and that stuff that stayed inside was the stuff they latched onto. So get it out.
Right. All right. Be sure to check out Kittens, Weights, and Tarot if you want your own private channeling. You could talk to whoever you want, and Tarot will connect, and you can ask your own questions. Just step inside of my shoes if that's what you're after. Light of Riga for crystals, Desert Cauldron for witchy tools, and we gotta go.
All right, so we will catch you guys next Monday. All right, bye.
Peace.